Hello and welcome back to Aston Martin, and it's Mexico time, round 20 of 22, only 3 to go, and as a reminder, all 3 of these remaining Grand Prix will happen during the course of this week. This is Monday, hopefully, unless there's a major catastrophe. Brazil will be Wednesday, Abu Dhabi will be Friday, and then the following Monday we'll have this Season 3 preview episode, and then next Wednesday we'll have Grand Prix 1, and next Friday we'll have Grand Prix 2 of Season 3. So, with that in mind, all we're just trying to do now is just effectively end this season with an amount of dignity that is respectable. We seem to have not made massive strides to go forward. We seem to have not made massive strides to go backwards. We seem to be sort of comfortably the 4th best team in general and popping in with the odd podium here and there via Gasly normally, and that's about it. So, whilst we made one big stride forward, so did everyone else. So we're effectively status quo still. Hopefully next season we'll get a little bit of jump on the field, and hopefully next season we can start a little bit stronger like we hoped for last year. Although weirdly, I think the majority of our points actually came at the start of this season, even though our car was not great then either. Like, we brought it into a good place, and then we sort of slipped back again, and then we brought it back into a good place, and now we're sort of comfortably 4th still, and it is what it is. But that's about it. Nothing really to mention, of course, in terms of events, because nothing's really happening anymore. Not building anything, because I'm preserving my money for next season. And, yeah. See you for qualifying. Shockingly, at the end of practice 3, we line up as the 4th fastest team behind the 1st fastest team, 2nd fastest team, and 3rd fastest team. Funny how that works. Jack Stewart is confusing me though, because he is notably faster than Alexander Albon. Almost feels like, for some baffling reason, they've given just Doohan a bunch of massive upgrades 3 races from the end. Maybe just to get him a point. Also worth noting, no rain in that practice, so I am going to have to pause immediately just to find out what's going on with the rain. Not in Q1. I'll get in the middle and let you know what goes on. Because one great thing about Mexico is it's actually quite easy to get past people, but unhindered. Gasly fractionally faster than Alonso, Mick notably slower, bearing in mind the lap time. Fascinating lap time by Zhou Guan Yu. Although now all 20 drivers have done a lap, Zhou Guan Yu's lap looks more exactly where it should be. Okay, so drivers coming out for their flying lap here. Mick is sitting 13th with Norris behind. So that's somewhat concerning. I think there's still a Ferrari that we're effectively waiting for. There it is. We'll try and get Mick the toe behind Gasly to help him out here, if toes are a thing in this game, but we hope they are. 1 minute 51 to get across the line. I'm not confident, because I know how they drive on these outlaps. There are 4 cars behind us, though, including both Williams, 1 Alfa Romeo and a Haas. Sadly, the Alfa Romeo is not the one that's at the back. But Magnussen and Tsunoda in particular could be in a spot above there, along with Zhou Guan Yu, because you would expect Norris to find that time, because he's probably meant to be in this ballpark. I think everyone's going to be okay now. Now I've seen people get round. 30 seconds to get through this last sector. Probably all right. Gasly across the line with 20-odd seconds. Mick with 20-odd seconds. Everyone's going to make it. We're all going to be fine. Although the second has to really push their luck there. About 5 seconds on the clock. I am off board, I now realise, but that's because I'm mostly expecting both our drivers to get through here. Just got to pay attention to Zhou Guan Yu, because we always know he's capable of something crazy. But Vettel crosses the line, notably only gains about a 10. Both drivers done a worse first sector, so someone's locked up somewhere. I think it's actually one of the Williams behind. It was Tsunoda, so that's ruined Tsunoda's chances. Norris didn't improve to get out. There were no crashes What? There were no crashes in practice. So this isn't a he's broken his car thing. Mick did improve, but only marginally. So Zhou does do it, Madison actually gets out of the bottom 5. Magnussen can still ruin his time, and does. Goes faster than Mick even, actually. We seem to be notably faster than the Alpines here, though, in general. Bottas and Doohan have penalties as well, for good measure. Okay, so apparently it's still soft weather, even though there's heavy rain on the schedule that we've yet to have today. So is this a case of... This is a case of get out there and get a lap in. I don't care that these are used tyres. Just trying to get these 2 as close as possible there. Get out, get a lap in. Get out, get a lap in. Get the lap in. Come on, lads. Don't get stuck on Perez. We might be all right. Not really all right. Mick got away with it. Mick got away with it more than Gasly did. Oh, Verstappen span on his flying lap. Perez has crossed the line. No problems with Perez. Verstappen could be out here. I mean, he's weirdly fighting a Ferrari on his in-lap. And there it is. So I think a few more people will get relatively clean laps in. Magnussen and Bottas went faster than Mick, not Gasly though. So the next person across the line is going to be the interesting one, because that's the first person who's had the majority of... Oh no, that was a Ferrari. Sainz hasn't done a flying lap. Sainz, Hamilton, Alonso, all people I would expect to be faster than Mick. Ricardo, I probably expect to be faster than Rick at this point as well. It's only really doing. I'd expect to be behind Mick, but he's weirdly better at this one racetrack, and I don't know why. And there goes Alonso with a time that is 8 seconds slower. And this rain doesn't go away in its entirety, apparently. So I suspect even with intermediate tyres on a clean lap, rather, you know, using softs, and with 2 minutes to go, effectively, either you're doing a lap on intermediates or you're doing a lap on a dry track on intermediates. So I'm not going to send my drivers out again. There's no point. They're not going to go faster than what they did on softs. This is all about really sorting out the bottom 5. Yeah, still plus 7 seconds. I love the fact they were like consistently within that 1 second, but and there goes Alonso to go 13th. They were all generally within 6/10, those 5. But so Verstappen survives despite spinning. Lucky boy. Only 9 people put in properly clean laps. Oh, would you look at that? And Bottas is the only one in the top 10 with a penalty still. Apparently things are dry, so I could actually run 2 sets of softs here. But I'm always tempted to do one on a... I'm almost tempted to keep one full set of softs. Okay, so the rain's gone again, apparently, and it won't be back. Magnussen got through to the top 10. Overlooked that bit. Shout out to Magnussen. Bottas is going to get in the way of us, I think, at the latter end of this lap. Oh, no, he just got away. Just got away with it. Magnussen faster than Mick is frustrating. All right, so we'll use the Q3 softs. Stroll got through to the top 10 as well. Bless him. Stroll's going to be an interesting roadblock in this race, I think. Magnussen went faster than Ocon. Okay, has to have actually brought an upgrade here, I think. All right, let's not miss our opportunity here. Come on. All right, well, we'll end up being last on the road here, but are they just not coming out? I don't think they're coming out. Okay, so I hope we haven't snookered ourselves there. I think that's enough time. That was enough time, I think, in normal. Oh, of course, I was waiting for this. I was waiting for this Ferrari and this Mercedes to come out, but of course they're not in this session. I mean, it should be enough time. That was a similar amount of time for them to get across the line in Q1, so they should be fine across the line in Q3, and they are indeed. We'll go on board with Pierre Gasly, see how high he can get. He might be able to nab a 5th here, maybe off Bottas if he's good. Only 400 separate the pair of them. Meanwhile, I'm hoping Mick can nab 7th. Bear in mind they did their first lap on used tyres, and I suspect nobody else did, because everyone would have had a clean set, or should have had a clean set. Magnus is already across the line and not improved. Stroll's across the line and improved, but stays 10th. Both drivers do a better first sector. Well done, boys. Verstappen goes across the line and doesn't improve his time either. There's Ocon. He does improve, but doesn't improve his position. Bottas doesn't improve. Leclerc's time improves, but position doesn't. So far, so irrelevant. Russell, again, crosses the line. No improvement in position, even though there's an improvement in time. Can Perez now pole in his home race? No. Doesn't even improve his time, let alone position. So it's just our lads. Both of them got better first and second sectors as he rounds the final corner. Pierre Gasly goes 6 thousandths faster. And Ocon actually did jump Mick, actually. And Mick's time did improve notably, but not enough to beat Ocon. Explain to me how Pierre had a faster first and second sector, but only went 6 thousandths faster overall. And slower than he did on used tyres in Q2. I suppose the track reset a bit. Sure, whatever. Okay, so 71 laps of the Mexican Grand Prix. I'll do this bit first, just so I don't forget. So, one-stops are viable, including a one-stop on softs. How viable is it? Borderline, but apparently the fastest strategy of all. Interesting, this one is 2 mediums. Apparently that is 11 seconds faster on the assumption that is 1 hour 38.53 seconds. Apparently 2 stops is faster with medium and then back to soft again. Because we kept one full clean set of soft, so that'll be the one we start on. I'm tempted to do that with Pierre and mix a little bit better on his tyres. So I'm almost half tempted to do this one with Mick. I kind of want to see what actually the hard to softs again is. You know, with a very late push. Are they both coming in on lap 21 there? They are, but we can negotiate that. Apparently that's the fastest strategy, and I'm not 100% confident on that. We will be ruined by any mid-race safety cars. There's no rain for the race. But there's 2 very strong DRS zones in this relatively short lap. I think we set up like this because that's not much different, the one stop. And again, we would be ruined by any safety car after this pit stop because, and to be fair, if there was a safety car midway, I think we'd have another set of mediums that we could just go on to the end instead. So actually, that wouldn't ruin us at all. We could do soft, medium, medium.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
So 5th and 8th are the starting positions because of Bottas's penalty, which only took him 14th. Sorry, it just felt a lot louder there for some reason. Pierre's grabbed Russell off the line, and Ocon's grabbed Russell off the line. That's what that was. But he's had a very poor next corner. Stroll's overtaken Schumacher, apparently, which is not good news. Where is Mick? Somewhat pincered, now with faster cars behind. But he's going to have a go back at Stroll, I suspect, on better tyres. He's on the inside, going into what is 3 right-handers in a row. And that will get him that position back again. Lovely work. I mean, Pierre's having a go at the Ferrari here, who's on mediums. Oh, that's a point. Who's doing soft to hard? Hamilton, Sainz, and Tsunoda are doing soft to hard. All the others are on one of the two medium strategies. Good lord, Pierre. That camera angle is terrifying. I mean, well, watch this.
Let's have a look.
I mean, does he go into the barrier there? Was that a clipping moment or not? Because what the flip? Really going for it there, Pierre. I'll come back now. Blimey. What a first lap. Pierre's just all over the back of Perez here. Meanwhile, Mick, who's now on the back of Ocon, who was overtaken by, on the back of Magnussen, who was overtaken by Ocon. Magnussen did out-qualify and started 6th, but now finds himself 7th, pounded by Mick, his former teammate. Magnussen's doing well enough to hold on to Ocon, I think, though. I don't think Ocon's doing well enough to hold on to Russell, though. And bizarrely, Hamilton not past Stroll yet, either. There is an interesting batch, of course, from that Q2 rain situation.
DRS will be active.
Thank you, Cronin. There's an interesting batch of drivers from 10th to 14th, effectively, with Bottas' penalty. Hamilton, Sainz, Alonso, Ricciardo, Bottas, all drivers you'd suspect would end up with top 10 positions in a normal race. All there, and I do not know what's going on with Norris. He qualifies 16th, and he's been overtaken by Vettel. But Gasly well within DRS of Perez, who might not be in DRS of Verstappen. Is there genuinely a chance that Gasly finds himself second by the end of this lap? Because the DRS will be a thing. I don't know why I said it weirdly. The DRS will be a thing on this next straight. It'd be a little bit weird if you overtook him here, though, I think. It's not that long a DRS straight. Our DRS is poor, and their just overall speed is good. But Perez still obviously outside of a second when it comes to the next straight. We'll go on board just to see if we can hunt him down. We've got Leclerc within a second behind and Russell within a second of him behind him. But just the 2 tenths separate them before the DRS is activated. And now the DRS is activated, we are slowly homing in, but not well enough. I think if anything, it's better to hold off here because it's a dual DRS zone, if I remember rightly. So I think he'll have it again here as Magnussen overtakes Ocon. Come on, Pierre, put yourself in a good position here. Or don't. You know, either or. Both work. Magnussen and Ocon fighting. No, that's Mick and Ocon fighting. Oh, beautiful work, Mick. I didn't see what happened there, but beautiful work. Normally, it's very difficult to get the second person when they're in a train. But Mick's overtaken Ocon there. Ocon down to 8th. We'll rewatch that one because you very rarely see this because of the DRS. Oh, I suppose Ocon didn't have DRS. I guess Ocon didn't have the DRS for the main straight, which is where Magnussen got him. And because it's a double DRS zone, he still didn't have DRS on the second straight, which is where Mick got him. So I think that's what's happened there. And then if Mick gets Magnussen here, and I'll make sure I come back for this, I mean, you can see the speed differential between the Haas and the Red Bull there. Like, Pierre struggling even with DRS to close on to the Red Bull, and yet Schumacher there on that small DRS straight, no problem. Just right up to the back to him. It wasn't long enough to fully catch him and make a pass, but, I mean, he's already going faster before the DRS here. And Hamilton's joined the back of this train, having actually finally passed Stroll. Gasly within a 10th again by the end of that main straight, but not close enough. Mick up to P6, and still pushing the field for now, because why not? But if he can do anything, I'll let him deploy to try and break that DRS behind. That's a point. I might let Pierre use overtake DRS. But yeah, we'll just try and break that 1 second for Magnussen with Mick, which he's already done, actually. There's the detection point. Mick, remarkably, has closed in a second on that one lap on the drivers in front. Is Mick, with deployment, is Mick driving faster than Perez on this one particular lap? Yes, that's the fastest lap. So, yes, he is the answer to that question. He's on his inside. We still have DRS in the second part of this as well. Pierre up to second. And with DRS to pull away from Perez on this next straight as well, for good measure. Don't need to rewatch that one. Actually, we will do, for potential thumbnails. There's Mick in the background, just hanging on. Like, hi. I mean, that's crazy. Pierre up to second temporarily. I mean, he'll get him back eventually, I imagine, but I'm trying to see if Mick is actually either gaining or holding firm in 6th there. Because Gasly's the one that's going to be holding this train up now. So as long as Mick can keep pace with his teammate, effectively, he won't lose out. It'd be a bit much to try and get Mick within a second, I think. But if we can have a little bit of infighting here, that, maybe slows things down a smidge. I'm going to presume he's defending from Perez here, because Perez got very close on the intervals. No, actually not close enough to actually be fighting at this point, interestingly. Can I have a go here? Check out? No? Okay, so yeah, Mick is losing time lap by lap now. Hamilton's got Magnussen behind, so that's a problem. Although they are fighting each other, surprisingly. That continued further than I thought it would. I was really hoping that getting Pierre at the front of that train was actually going to hold... Actually, let's go back to balanced as well now, because we're under half a kilogram. I mean, that's really going to kill their times now, but it's 10 old laps until we pit, so... Well, more than. So it's a long old time until we actually get to a pitting position. Yeah, it's nice being in front of Perez for a while, but actually being behind him and DRSing him is much better for our fuel overall, much better for our tyres overall. I don't think we're actually ever going to get close enough either to harvest, because I don't think our pace harvesting, even with DRS, is going to be enough, although he's got him back. I might actually harvest with Pierre as long as he's in front of Perez. There's been multiple car crashes. Safety car. Lap 10. Ha! Option C. That is an option. That is an option. Okay, so soft to medium is viable from here. My only problem is, if you do that, then you are committed to that. 15 seconds for a safety car pit stop. To leader, 15 seconds. Oh, God, 50 seconds is a very awkward spot. For Mick, it's back of the grid. And nobody's going to pit from there. But it is very easy to overtake here. So it's Norris that's involved because he's on 0% tyres. And I presume Tsunoda's hit him. They've had a shocking race. I've just realised, am I going crazy or is this background music a lot louder? Right, so I think the consideration here isn't, do we go on, we can't switch to a one-stop. That's still not going to be, you're not going to get to the end on one set of tyres. The consideration is, compared to the strategy we're on already, soft, medium is 3 seconds longer, but you're saving 7 seconds in a pit stop. But that's going to put you further back in traffic. Is it worthwhile pitting? I'm always tempted to try Mick, because Gasly's second here. The issue, of course, is, that's a good point, they're going to be one-stopping potentially. The two medium strategies are medium, hard, medium, and medium, just medium, hard. So they could be one-stopping. This is an interesting one, because everyone's too bunched up already. I'm going to let them get a little bit closer, because I just want to see how these intervals kind of sort themselves out a bit. Because sometimes if you sort of continue going, just going to ignore for the time being. We'll watch this. So it is Tsunoda up the back of Norris then. Neither of which were on the racing line originally, but... Blimey, Lando bounced. So 50 seconds off Pierre Gasly is there in the Albon Bottas ballpark. But you can see Pierre lost 1 point. That's because he's harvesting, that's why. I forgot about that. So he slowed down there, stupidly. Soft, medium would be 3 seconds longer. I think we're too early to pit. This is genuinely the toughest consideration I've had, and actually 19 seconds is now Ricciardo. Mick would still be back of the grid if I was to pit him. I think it's almost certainly better for Mick not to pit, because this is obviously going to bring him up to the back of George Russell again, and it gives him that fight to have rather than, going to the back of the grid and having to fight through back markers. Whereas Pierre Gasly could come out behind sort of Stroll and Alonso and be with them on the track, but having already made the pit stop. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. It's all well and good sort of measuring up the time you're losing versus the time that you would lose in a pit stop later on. If no one else pits, then you've got an entire pit stop on them. Pierre's worse on his tyres as well. I don't think we can risk it with Mick. How close are they on the road? 8 seconds apart. We could get them both in and out. Let's take a gamble. They're 8 seconds apart on the road, so they shouldn't have an issue with double stack. I think Mick will end up at the back. Tsunoda might have to pit anyway, just because he was the one who crashed, so he will be last but one. Yeah, so Pierre's in and out without any issue. Mick comes in. There's Tsunoda. Oh, don't tell me you have to wait for Tsunoda. Oh, no, we're fine. So Pierre did come out exactly where I expected him to, behind Ricciardo. So the 15 seconds was spot on there. Just go on full recovery everything for the time being. I wonder if it'll wait for Tsunoda. I mean, Tsunoda essentially gets that penalty completely for free there in the end, unless he doesn't get caught up. But yeah, consider the fact that Pierre was 3 seconds behind Verstappen before the safety car. I mean, he would have been immediately directly behind him, but now he's still only 6 seconds off the lead in total, and less than actually, because we're slowly bunching up still. Less than 4 seconds off the lead. He's effectively got the same gap to Verstappen he had before he pitted right now. Admittedly, a ton of cars in between. He should make light work of some of these on brand new fresh tyres that I'm going to push him on. Okay, so we're going another lap, I think, as we should. I'm expecting safety car in this lap. There it is.
Safety car will be in.
So I think the safety car is running away already. So let's go attack, push, deploy, attack, push, deploy. Let's get some of these places back immediately. I mean, they quite literally could not go any closer.
No overtaking.
I mean, Pierre going for it immediately there. And it's going to pan out, I think. Didn't quite. Mick got Doohan, though, behind. Is Doohan on his right-hand side here? Because that's such a weird position for Doohan to be. No. I feel like there's someone on his outside. There was a Williams. Mick's in a Williams sandwich right now. Oh, no, so I think Doohan's on the other side. But Mick being sandwiched. And he might get Vettel straight away here as well. I mean, it's an unbelievable restart from Mick here if he gets Vettel as well. Another car has spun, but I don't think that affects us. But it does because we've all stopped. Oh, it was Verstappen who's gotten away with it because he stopped everyone. What the flip just happened there? I mean, that's unfair. He spins and gets away with it. And it's annoyingly broken up the field.
So we're happy to let the
Well, that's ludicrous. Mick was getting Vettel there as well. But he had to stop overtaking him. Meanwhile, Pierre can't get past Ricciardo for some reason. I'll let him push on this straight just because, but Mick, you're faster. Why aren't you overtaking? For some reason, they didn't actually have the strategy plugged in. For some reason, they think Pierre's pit window is open just because he's on the tail end of it. But these two really need to deal with Stroll, which I think they will do now. But, okay, mate, overtake. For Christ's sake, overtake. This strategy revolves around you staying within a pit stop of the leaders by the time they pit. I mean, bizarre positioning from Stroll there. You can see why we sacked him. He always went, yeah, all right, there you go. I'll leave him on overtake for this next race so we can get Ricciardo as well. Same with you. How have you lost Ricciardo by that much? Get him, you fool. Right, Mick's through as well, meanwhile, in the background. Ricciardo got him back because he didn't have DRS. Urgh, this is frustrating. This is frustrating now, and you need to be stop pushing now because I think you'll catch these. Mick will catch these anyway because it's Stroll and he's terrible for some reason. Don't get me wrong, I don't think Lance Stroll's the best driver in the world, but I don't think he's also this bad, just in general pace-wise. Like, Lance's failings is just his erraticness. I do need you to go aggressive a little bit here, Mick, because you are losing them ahead, because Stroll's getting the Bottas toe, which is effectively the Ricciardo toe. Okay, so harvest up a bit, Pierre. Right, so they're all pitting now. So these will be the two-stop pitters, which has worked out for Mick, in fact, because he's ahead of all of them. Wow, they came out so much further back than I was anticipating. I mean, Pierre's having a look at Ricciardo here, even whilst harvesting. We'll go neutral on this next race just to see if he can actually get him. But because it's mixed within DRS of Stroll and his teammates pitted out of his DRS range as well. So Stroll's a sitting duck. But we'll wait for the next one, Mick. Wait for the next one. That's fine. Just wait for the next one. That's all fine. Get him on the next straight, Mick. It's fine. Get him on this final DRS zone. I'll break him here. Or don't. You know, either way's fine. We'll see if we can get Mick through Ricciardo. You think the tyre situation would come into play soon? That alarmingly did very little. We'll get Mick to harvest behind DRS then. Just use all of Pierre's battery. And now that he's got 0 DRS, he's actually overtaking Danny. Logic. Please make this game make sense. I can't fathom it. So Verstappen and Ocon are doing the one-stop strategy then, which is a problem in Verstappen's case for us. Oh, Mick and Stroll are actually fighting that a little bit more than I thought they were. And that's actually Albon, so we'll stop Mick harvesting now. So you'll have the inside for these two corners, so get out, Alex, get out. So I was harvesting so that I can then maybe waltz past Stroll here. And so Gasly got Daniel, and Daniel's now outside of a second already. Amazing how that worked. All right, so Mick, your turn. Your turn, Mick. Blimey, the closing speed there was weird. Neutral through this section. Don't use any more here. Now overtake again. Because I think that's what happened with Pierre. Like, bizarrely, they used it through that chicane. Come on, Mick. You have DRS. He's in an Alfa Romeo, and he's Lance Stroll. Everything should be in your favour right now. And for some reason, you are putting your tyre within the width of his own tyre. Like, how this isn't a Mick problem. This is just a general AI problem. Now, this time, he's managed to position himself like a full car's width out of the way. And now Pierre's through Ricciardo. He's actually gaining a knock-on as well. So there's a couple of cars here seemingly doing the one-stop, so we need to legitimately be ahead of them on the road because we both got one stop left. Like, everyone driving right now, the pit stop window's gone, so everyone driving right now has one pit stop left. Whether they're on a one-stop or a two-stop strategy, they've all got one pit stop. So I think Mick is closing on Danny, slowly. Danny's clearly on a one-stop as well. There's Verstappen and Danny. They've all gone. So we need to legitimately be faster than them on the road. Verstappen's come out ahead of Pierre and behind Ocon, just to be annoying. Perez is closing on Mick as well for good measure. I mean, this is slightly weird for Gasly. So Verstappen gets Ocon. Great. Ocon pits now anyway. But Gasly's got DRS on Verstappen, and Perez has closed on Mick to the point where he's got DRS, so maybe Mick will get a toe off Perez when he inevitably overtakes. I'm just wondering if Gasly's got the pace on a one-lap stint of this particular track to stay within Verstappen's DRS consistently. Because the straights and DRSs come relatively thick and fast here. Oh, Mick couldn't stay on Perez. I can't push them, so that's the problem. Now, bear in mind, Mick was fighting for, the low end of the points before the safety car, so he is now fighting for fourth, essentially. And Gasly's outside the DRS zone, but he's still just caught it there, but he won't have it anymore. So considering the fact he's only got one pit stop left, the fact that he sort of had about 4 laps worth of DRS off Verstappen, really helpful. And for the time being, he's got a 5-second buffer on Perez. Their pit stop window isn't... I'm sorry, what is going on with their strategy? Why can't it remember his strategy? I think we go there just so we can push on the outlap and then What lap is that? Is that the same lap for both of them? I think it is the same lap for both of them, but Mick, we might be able to leave a lap longer just because he's better on his tyres. But he is 8 seconds behind on the road again, so we could get away with pitting them on the same lap. Russell's now in mixed DRS. So this is where Mick falls down. This is where Mick falls down in particular, because obviously his tyres are a lot worse than theirs. They should be on hards though, so they shouldn't be that much faster. And they've almost got their fuel back as well, so I could push them a little bit later on. Can Mick stay within Russell's DRS? Because he's on hard. There's been an incident. Just a brief one though. Nope, Mick can't even stay in Russell's DRS. Can you just stay in someone's DRS? But I think the issue is Mick gets passed on that main straight and therefore doesn't have DRS on the second part either. So he's already effectively outside the DRS window on the next section. Okay, so Perez slowly gaining on Gasly, but pit window for Gasly is soon. So I wonder if there's a nice little undercut. Because nobody's getting DRS here, so, you know, there's no benefit of DRS unless you're a slower vehicle. And we're trying to undercut faster vehicles, effectively. So Perez has DRS on Pierre now. The Ferraris are swamping Mick in the meantime and don't actually pass him, hilariously. So the pit window opens in one lap for Pierre, and Perez has got him. Interesting. But now Pierre's got DRS on Perez and mixed in a Ferrari sandwich and stayed in the Ferrari sandwich, more importantly. Okay, so Pierre is falling outside of the second, so I will push both of these two on their tyres, so I need them to stay in DRS windows. I can certainly put them both on the same lap still, so that's not an issue. To lead, Mickey is 11 seconds behind, so yeah, I could easily put them the same lap. It's not a problem. But I'm going to put them on the lap where their tyres basically hit 40%, is what I'm aiming at. But keeping them within a second of faster cars during their pit stop windows, basically, I think they'll hit 40% on this lap. I think they'll both hit. So we'll get 2 for the price of 1 on this one particular lap. It's a shame that we actually kind of lose the toe here, but we're also going to lose the tyres. Oh, Pierre back out on the road again, ahead of Alonso. Perfect pit stop for Pierre. Mick's in a slightly more perilous position because he's come out ahead of Stroll, actually, so he should be faster than him. And now there's a crash. I knew that was going to happen. I knew it! I could feel it. I could feel it in my waters that was about to happen. All right, no harm done. Magnussen out. That's a shame. It was one of his better races. I could feel it in my waters to wait for one more lap. Oh, there was more instant there, as I assume that's Stroll. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world because it brings Mick onto the back of Bottas, to whom there was a gap, and it brings Gasly onto the back of these front 6, to whom there was a gap. Most importantly, between Verstappen and Perez himself. And effectively, anyone that's beneath 80% on their hards was 2-stopping. Alonso's pitting because he was hit, I think. That's not... he's gone on softs. That's a crazy strategy. Yeah, but we were still behind the safety car, so don't burn any of it. I think it'll come in. We've all caught up. I think it will come in. Alonso won't get to the end on those softs, I wouldn't have thought. So is that driving away yet? I mean, for a safety car that's coming in, he's not really driving off yet. There we go. So Mick's in 11th, with a whole bunch of cars ahead of him that will pit again. Perez, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Sainz, and Bottas will all pit again. He's lost out in that pit stop window to Ocon and Ricciardo, who are on 1-stops. But everyone else is 2-stopping. It's only Verstappen that isn't 2-stopping, actually, in that top 6. So Pierre, despite that, is actually in a really good position here. We may have spent an extra 7 seconds in the pit stop, which could have actually got us out ahead of one of those Ferraris if we'd done it behind the safety car. But all of that other top 6 are pitting again, apart from Max, who's on hard tyres that are 20% worse than his mediums. I very much doubt we'll catch him. I'm baffled by Mick getting overtaken by Stroll. Meanwhile, Gasly's taking Leclerc ahead as well. Don't think I didn't see that. I think there's so many drivers ahead of Mick, he can't work out where to position himself. Driving the clean air, because that gives you the overtaking lines. He's got Stroll, though. Don't push the tyres anymore, either. We've got to get to the end. Save a bit of life for the end of this race. And don't, full deploy. Okay, so Mick's back in the top 10. He's taken Ocon, which is one of the 2 drivers who doesn't have to stop again. He will have him. Mick's main target right now is Daniel Ricciardo, because Bottas will pit again. If Mick takes Daniel Ricciardo, there's a very good chance he ends up on the podium. I mean, he's still got to get Ocon here because he's struggling with that. Essentially, whoever is the first driver on the road that isn't stopping again, very good chance they'll be on the podium. I forgot to come back, but hi. Okay, so Mick's made it stick on Ocon now. I think driving in clean air is actually hurting him now, rather than helping. I think part of the problem is they're really struggling to deal with Bottas here. Bottas is just positioning himself in such a way that's blocking Mick. So if Mick can get behind Bottas I've sort of just left Gasly to his own devices because I know he'll do what I want him to. Right, just get away from Ocon, Mick. That helps. There we go. How is Gasly doing? Oh, he's right in the Ferrari Mercedes sandwich. That's fine. I mean, both drivers with DRS there, and Pierre takes Hamilton. kind of. The interesting part here is Mick's overtaking someone in the background. There's Bottas. Okay, so that was crucial because now he's on the back of the only other driver who isn't pitting again that he's legitimately capable of, fighting. All these other guys are basically just cannon fodder because they're going to lose an entire pit stop. Come on, Hamilton, get your teammate. You're really ruining everyone's race here in your inability to be better than George. I'm always tempted to harvest just so I can overtake him again. Oh, actually, there goes a whole bunch of people. So, unfortunately, I think Hamilton actually had the DRS on that particular straight, but he won't do any more. Mick took Danny. Mick took down his target. I was expecting that to take longer for Mick to get, fully caught up there. I thought Ricciardo had a bit more pace than that. Apparently not. Done on that straight, which means he's going to have pulled away a little bit. It's good work from Mick. And he's pulled out a second on him already. Surely not. Can you get within a second? Gasly's... No, I don't think... Even with deployment, I don't think Mick can actually... Mick's got a new fastest lap, but I don't think he can actually get caught up to sights. And Gasly's taken Hamilton now. And he'll pull away from him. I suspect now. Yep. There we go. Mick's within... Sorry. Mick's taking sides. Yeah, they're on hards still. How have they not pitted yet is what I want to know, because the pit window is odd. I mean, I don't know why I didn't replay that one, but these 5 pitted a couple of laps ago. You would have thought the other half would have pitted straight away. Is Mick legitimately going to have to get caught up to Hamilton and overtake him then? Which I think he's possibly capable of here. He's not got this DRS window, but he has pulled away from Sainz in the remaining portion of that lap, and Sainz isn't catching to a dangerous degree. 20 laps to go. We'll let this go to minus 0.2. I think we might be all right there. So Mick's got DRS on Hamilton. I'm still expecting them to pit here. They might change their strategy to pit onto softs, actually. I don't know if the AI is capable of that. The only time the AI change their plan is if they're crashed into, as in, as we saw with Alonso. Can we just talk about how 8th, 9th, 10th right now is Stroll out on Vettel? And Duran's on the verge of points again. So he's going to get ruined eventually. I think a 4-second gap on Hamilton, we can just go, don't bother with the fuel anymore, lad. We're okay there. That's not how you overtake someone, Mick. I just want to know where this pace has come from. I know we're on better tyres, but Jesus. I'm really intrigued to see Mick try and overtake Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he's gone for it there. It's a bold strategy, but we'll see if it pays off. Yeah, because he's head by the DRS line now. Great work. It's not great work, let's be honest, because he's going to immediately be re-overtaken. Because I can't let him push. Oh, he's defended on the first one. Just stop him getting past there and you should be all right. Okay, so I think Mick's genuinely in a fight with Hamilton and Sainz now. I don't think they're pitting again, which seems weird. That's fine, there's 13 laps to go. You'll get that 0.1 back. I mean... I think they'll be able to do it. So they must have one stop, but decided to stop a lot earlier. So they're doing the same thing as Verstappen, but they just stopped a lot earlier than everyone else. They're getting annoyingly close to Mick now. Yeah, stop telling me that. We've got 10 laps to go and they're just breaking even now. They're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Mick's already back into the positive +0 somehow. I mean, don't get me wrong. Mick's getting a ton of successful defends here, I suspect, for experience purposes. I'm just worried about one of them driving into him. Or him doing that. Come on, get into DRS range of them, please. All right, 3 laps to go. He's got DRS again, I think. All right, there we are. Harvest whilst you're in this train. We'll see if we can get him back on the podium. Like, Pierce has driven like a very unproblematic race here so far. Just stay within DRS range. Save up that DRS. Let Hamilton get Sainz again. Just let them fight each other for a bit. Don't harvest on that straight. Okay, so last lap. All out attack. Oh, I don't know whether I can push or not. You might as well conserve on your final lap, Pierre. You've got the advantage. Just don't have an issue, please. Let them fight. Get them both if you can. At least get one of them, Mick, please. Please get one of them. I can't push you. You're on +1. Oh, come on, Mick. Get on the inside of Sainz at least. Yes, boy. It's one of them. You're not going to get Hamilton, are you? Oh, shame about the lockup. It's a shame about the lockup, but this is a great move in the final corner. Just loses out on another podium, but there's very good points for his campaign late on. It's still 12 points. Did lose the fastest lap, irritatingly. Perez got it, and he's in 11th. So thanks for that, Checo. Worthless. Oh, he's 10th, actually. He's going to get that bonus point. Leclerc finished 16th in the end.
Brilliant.
Stroll gets points, Vettel gets points, and Perez gets at 1 point. Doohan still doesn't get points, bless him. Tsunoda changed tyres late on, I didn't notice. Alonso's tyres were 26% by the end. 26! I told him he wouldn't make it, but he got away with it because of Vettel, I think, because he's in a train, which hindered Perez's progress, but we'll get out of the way for another podium for Pierre. Oh, I'm just thinking, if we hadn't been screwed over by that second, or if I just held Mick off another lap, it didn't matter for Pierre, but for Mick it did. I kind of cost Mick that podium, actually. He cost it on himself by going off, but it's been a while since I've seen a Merc on the podium, actually, so that's not too bad either. So Perez gets 2 points for finishing 10th, because he got the fastest lap at the very, very end, by a significant margin. I'm not that annoyed now seeing that, but yeah, good positions. I didn't do the bonus for gaining positions, that's a shame, but I just wish Mick could have got Lewis again, or, locked up at the end. So this is a permanent feature now, apparently. It takes Pierre ahead of Charles Leclerc, who is down to 6th now. because he didn't score points, because he finished 16th, remarkably, because he didn't pitch when he should have. Neither did George, and neither did Perez. All of them lost out. So Pierre's back up to 5th. 12 points the gap on Charles Leclerc with 2 races to go. It's not unfallible. We see Pierre beat him. Pierre does get more points than both Hamilton and Sainz, but that fight is similarly possibly out of his range now, and Perez is definitely out of his range, even though Perez only got 2 points. Ocon still got 6 points in that race, actually. I forgot about that. So Mick's closed to 1 point, and both now in touching distance of Fernando Alonso as well. It's weird that it says races. You can't see it. I don't know why it says races finished 20 out of 20, because he got taken out of Spa, and Pierre got taken out of Japan, so that's bogs. Pierre Gasly and Charles Leclerc have the same number of podiums, and Pierre has more wins. 1 win, 9 podiums. And constructors-wise, it's 30 points. It's more points than Mercedes, but that fight's long since been done. And similarly, the one with Alpine behind, that's now 142 points behind. Has gained 2 points, puts a little bit of pressure on AlphaTauri. That's literally the only fight that's worth paying attention to anymore. Development point for Pierre. Development point for Mick. Caldwell still exists. I'm just going to spoiler things right now. I'm not changing my drivers at the end of the season, but Ollie Caldwell might be upgraded. I generally thought it'd be faster to upgrade him. Apparently not. Okay, so we'll do that. Oh, we've got everything up to kind of standard now. Let's get his defending up to 80. Let's round that off, and then we'll continue trying to push one of this lot. I think there's an achievement to getting one of these to 100, so I might go for that. Meanwhile, I just need to get Mick capable in braking to begin. There's his overall that I've been waiting for him to get. 79 overall now. I thought it was weird it hadn't happened yet. And we actually have a bunch of development points on our staff members. Underfloors really matter, so I'm actually going to boost him there. Okay, so all points set out. And actually, that was a research, wasn't it, coming back? So I'm just gonna quickly dump in another suspension, because I can get that in within the window, so the end of November. Because I think things lock off on the 1st of December, if I remember rightly. Oh, it's the 27th of November that it locks off. That's my bad. Does that just mean we can't actually start anything actually there? That might just be start, but either way, I tried to get it in before the 1st of December. That's my bad. Just for the review, anyway. End of the car parks research period. So the research period actually goes to the 1st of January. So I could have actually gone that further, but never mind. That's my bad. However, 2 more races to go. Brazil next. That's always a fun one. Always a fun race in real life. I actually don't remember how it went last year. Having a quick look at the previous histories, it seems there was at least 1 safety car last year. So we'll keep that one in mind. And there has been safety cars in all of the last 3 races there. So we'll expect something to happen. I might need to build wings and things ahead of time just in case it is a problem circuit. I genuinely can't remember. All I know is there's definitely not a sprint race, because they weren't coded into the game. So I'll see you for that next time. If you've enjoyed this race, what a race it was actually. Just dwell on that for a second. 2nd and 4th, fantastic result. Best result since Canada, in fact. So thank you for joining me. I'll see you again on Wednesday for Brazil, hopefully. If you enjoyed this, like, comment, subscribe, you know the deal. Until then, ta-ra.